Hey y'all, it is Jocelyn Elise, that mindset teacher, encouraging you to change your thoughts so that we can change the world. Listen, friends. Today we are continuing on our productivity kick. So if you've watched my previous videos, you know that I did a time management tips for teachers video, which was specific for things that teachers could do to really be intentional with their time. And then I previously recorded a video all about the power list. So we talked about how we can use power lists to, again, be intentional, to be strategic, to really think about where our time is going and making sure that we are maximizing the time in the day that we have. You guys, I was talking with a teacher friend just recently, and she asked me how I do it all. LOL, because I do not. First of all, I hate that we have this perception that when we look at people, it's like they are perfect or like they are doing it all or like they are accomplishing all of the things. The thing about time is that it is literally a commodity that we can never get back. So when I decide to focus my time on something else, I am also exercising that opportunity cost. Where my economist at? Opportunity cost is literally, if I spend money, I am choosing, then I lose the opportunity to spend money on something else. And that is exactly how our time works. If I dedicate my time to lesson planning or to creating this really awesome, engaging resource, then I am taking my time from something else. That means that I'm not going to be able to spend my time maybe digging really deep into social studies because I've spent all my time on this ELA resource. Or maybe, I'm spending all of my time playing my video games, so I don't get to invest my time into the business that I want to, grow or to achieve. Or maybe I spend my time watching The Office. Ooh, did I just attack myself? Y'all, if you don't watch The Office, what are you doing with your life? The Office is literally the best TV show that has ever been created. Just putting that out there. But if I spend all of my time watching The Office and I do not go out, or watching whatever TV show floats my boat, right? And I do not go out and apply for the school that I want to be at or to get the degree that I have the dream of attaining. When I do those things, I then spend my opportunity cost where I can't go and do something else. So people do not ever do it all. We make sacrifices in different areas of our lives to be able to maintain a certain status in other areas. But I will say that when we are strategic and intentional with our time, we are really able to balance things a lot better. We start to get these mindful habits that allow us to be more productive and to accomplish the things, to see ourselves producing things in our lives that are sustainable. And one of these strategies, you guys, that I have used that really, really helps with sustainable habits, sustainable lifestyle, just being able to be a teacher, be a wife, be a Christian, to be all of these different things. We all wear so many different hats. And one of the things that has helped me to maintain my sanity in all the different hats that I wear is batching. So we are going to talk today about what batching is, what it looks like, and how we can implement it into our lives so we are our best selves. So I know you guys have all heard someone talk about like a batch of cookies, right? Or a batch of like any type of baked good. Well, think about it this way, you guys. If I were to make a batch of cookies, if I were to make a dozen cookies, and I pull out all of the ingredients and I preheat the stove and I get the cookies together, I'm dealing with the dough, I put that in the oven, let it bake, just to pull out one cookie, set it on the table, and to restart that entire process for the next cookie. That sounds crazy to me, to have to restart that process 12 times just to get my dozen cookies, when I could have went ahead, mixed all those ingredients together for all 12 cookies, made all 12, got the dough together to make all 12 of my cookies, put those 12 cookies in the oven at the same time, pulled them out at the same time to have my 12 cookies right in front of me. So when I think about different tasks that I have to complete, I am thinking, what tasks can I group together? What tasks can I do at the same time that are similar, that will save me time in the long run? So when we batch, we kind of group all those alike activities together so that we can then create more time in our schedule. So what in the world can I batch? I know you're probably thinking this. What can I group together to create that additional time in my schedule? So the first step of batching is to think about our daily tasks. Think about the things that you have to do on a regular basis. Think about the things that you like to try to even fit in or accomplish within your schedule. So as a teacher, one of the things that I batch is my lesson plans. Teachers are always planning, you guys. We have to have a lesson ready to go literally every single day. So we're always thinking about things that we can do with our students. And if you talk to any teacher, I feel like lesson planning is where majority of our time is spent. So instead of me pulling out my teacher's edition, pulling up the companion website, getting my mentor text, really thinking about the different texts that I want students to look at, pulling up all the resources, all the materials, all of the things every single day to lesson plan, I would do that once a week. So instead of me having to prepare my mind and getting myself in the flow of, okay, what was I doing before? Or what did we do in the previous lesson? I literally just do that one time, and then I can go ahead and get myself in a space where I'm batching these plans. I'm able to get all of my plans done at one time, and I do not have to think about them anymore. I don't have to jump back into that mind frame of pulling all of these materials out and doing all of these things, and even thinking about my path and the trajectory that my students are currently on. I can do that one time. I am done with it. Other things that I personally batch are y'all might think this is silly, but I batch my outfits. I batch the clothes that I wear each day to work. So on Sunday night, I literally have a little spot on my dresser where I put all of my outfits. So I'll start with Friday. Friday is usually a jean day. So I go ahead, I pull out a pair of jeans, I pull out just a t-shirt that I'm going to wear with it. And then I'll say, okay, what you gonna wear on Thursday? What you gonna wear on Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday? And it literally saves me so much time in the morning, because I would spend time in the morning just trying on clothes or putting on a shirt. Oh, I don't really like how that looks, and then taking it off. And so instead of doing that process literally every single day, I spend a little time on Sunday, and then it allows my morning to go smoother. I also batch my meals. So I meal prep. On Sunday, I get my menu together. I think about what I'm going to cook for dinner. I go ahead and I pre-make my meals, so that way throughout the week, I have that food there when I am tired from coming home from work. Me and my husband can spend more time together. We can spend more time working towards our goals, rather than me sitting in the kitchen and cooking each night. I can just go ahead, knock that out, spend 2 hours on Sunday meal prepping, and then I don't have to cook for the rest of the week, where I would have spent 30 to 40 minutes every single night. Now I just knock that out in that 2 hours, and I don't have to think about it again. Something else that I batch as a teacher is my communication or my email. So one thing that I love about our communication platform is that you can schedule posts. So I will schedule different posts that I want my parents or my families to be aware of. I'll go ahead, type out the message, and schedule that to post. And then if I want to remind them of that same thing, maybe later in the week, something is due, or I want them to fill out a specific form or something like that, I can then resend that, hey, just a reminder of this, and I can pre-type those things out. So literally, I do not have to do anything else. Those posts are automatically going to go out and I don't have to think about it again. I also do this for like my learning management system, where I just go ahead and set up the entire week. I don't have to think about, oh, I didn't put in the assignment for Wednesday. Like, no, I just set all of my pages up and they're ready to go. And one thing that even people that aren't teachers can kind of use also is my, going back to communication, like the email. So I'm going to sit down at this specific time and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to respond to all of my emails I respond to my emails 3 different times a day. So first thing in the morning, I respond to emails. At lunchtime, I respond to emails, and then towards the end of the day. So nobody's ever having a huge wait period where they're having to wait for me to respond, because I have these different checkpoints throughout the day for me to check in and make sure that I am keeping up with my communication. So you could do something like that, where instead of you always like, oh, I heard my email go off, I got to go over there and check it. And now you're task switching because you're stopping what you were doing before to check your email to see what that was. You could space those things out, especially if you aren't expecting something that you feel will be like critical or super time sensitive. Just going ahead and setting that time where I'm going to check my email to make sure that I'm continuously responding. Another example of batching that I have used that really helped me get through my grad school program was batching like similar assignments. So we would have a discussion post and replies that we would have to do, and they would want us to post them on different days. So it would be like, oh, post your Monday reply on this day, then you have to reply to 3 different posts on different days throughout the week, so that we were constantly interacting with the class. And then you have another post that you have to post later on in the week, and then do a couple of replies to that. So what I would do is literally type out my discussion post, and I would look at who had already posted. There were always a couple of us that posted like the day it was due. And so I would look at their posts and I would literally type out responses to those first couple of people. So then my discussion post and my response is already done, and I do not have to come back to that task again. So my discussion post, all of my replies are done. For the rest of the week, I do not have to worry about them. So that's another example of how batching can become useful. Instead of me having to sit down, pull up an article, pull up a source. Y'all, most of the time I just use the same source a couple times, honestly. But having to pull up a source, looking through the database, trying to think about the topic and making sure I was versed and understood the topic. Instead of having to do that over and over again, I would just literally pull up that stuff, get it done, and not have to think about that task or tasks that were similar to it throughout the week. So when we batch, when we put things together, we allow our brains to get into a flow. This is why practice makes perfect, because our brains are able to get like this automatic response, or this automaticity of whatever task we are doing. So we begin to get into the flow, and our brains are less focused on the task and more focused on actually being creative and responsive, and we are able to produce better work because we have gotten into the flow. We are doing this task for an extended period of time, so our brain is now comfortable in the task itself, and it can focus on making that task or whatever it is that we're working on even better. So batching is so major key. It is such a great strategy to use to make sure that you accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, and really just saving that time instead of jumping into a task and then stopping, and then jumping into a task and then stopping, and then never really getting that thing which you want to accomplish done. Just batching those things together, dedicating that time, setting aside the time to just get the task done, allowing your brain to get into the flow, and it will then create more time in your schedule later in the long run. So I hope that you are able to use batching to be more productive and more intentional with your time If you like my content, please, 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 please don't forget to comment down below, to like, to subscribe. I am so happy that you joined me for this video, friend, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.